Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. My track guide for the Ferrari 296 challenge going around Silverstone, the Grand Prix layout. Let's get into it. For turn 1, we want to start on the left side of the track. I'm using the outside curb to help me open up turn 1 a bit more. My braking marker is the 100 board here on the left. I aim for about 70% brake pressure, trailing that off all the way to the inside curb. Make sure to keep one set of wheels within the white line, otherwise you will get a 1x. Once we get to the end of the curb, we want to pick up the throttle again. I aim to come out just about mid-track. That will make turn 2 a lot easier, as we can cut the curb and making the entry to turn 3 a lot better. Get as far left as you can for turn 3. I'll start to brake once I get to the 100 board here on the left. I aim for about 75% brake pressure, trailing that off all the way to the inside curb. And I'm braking outwards towards the outside curb just to help open up the corner a bit more. We want to get as close as we can to the anti-cut on the inside without hitting it. And once at the inside curb, we want to pick up the throttle again. We want to be easy with the throttle because it's really easy to lose the rear. We need a good exit out of turn 4 because we are flat out all the way down to turn 6 now. I don't have a good clear braking marker, but this is the point where I start to brake. And I aim for about 70% brake pressure, trailing that off all the way to the inside curb. I'm shifting down to second as I get to the curb. I felt I got a bit more rotation out of that and could get earlier on the throttle again. Once we start to leave the curb, we want to pick up the throttle again. And here we want to ease it in because we don't want to overload the rear at any point. Then of course we want to get all the way out to the right side of the track to help open up with turn 5. We also might need to short shift the car a little bit to maintain stability throughout the corner. And for the exit curb, make sure to keep one set of wheels within the white line. Turn 6 is a place where people will try and overtake you in the race, so keep that in mind when racing. But when qualifying, stay on the right side of the track. Use all of the available curb here on the outside and brake at the 100 board. Here I aim for about 95% brake pressure, and we want to trail that off all the way to the last anti-cut on the green AstroTurf after the emergency road. I miss it a little bit in this run, but you want to get as close as you can to that anti-cut. Once we leave the AstroTurf, we want to pick up the throttle again. Be easy with it because it's really easy to make the car oversteer here. For turn 7, I don't have a clear braking marker for you, but I'm braking just about a car length before the peak of the curb. I aim for about 60% brake pressure, and I'm taking this corner as a double apex, meaning we get to apex early and then track out, rotating the car and getting on the throttle and apexing again. I also prefer to go down to second here, as I feel that gives me more rotation. At the top of the corner, start to slightly apply the throttle again. I like to short shift into third as I feel I can get more traction out of that. Slowly applying the throttle and using all of the available room on the outside. Now take the shortest route possible. You can even cut the curb here on the inside, get as close as you dare to the wall, and get back to the left side of the track for turn 9. We want to use all of the outside curb here to help us open up turn 9. I brake once I get to the 100 board here on the left. And I aim for about 90% brake pressure, trailing that off all the way to the inside curb. We don't want to hit that curb too much as that will spit the car out to the left side of the track. But once we are at the curb, we want to go on the throttle again. And here we want to ease the throttle in again because it's really easy to understeer off the track and get a 1x here on the outside. If you keep one set of wheels within the white line, you will be good. Now get over to the right side of the track. We don't have to brake for turn 10, but we need to brake for turn 11. And I brake once I get to the peak of the curb here. I aim for about 80% brake pressure, and I'm trailing that off past the inside curb of turn 11. The car will go over to the left side of the track, but that doesn't matter. I give it a little bit of throttle to stabilize before braking again because we want to stay close to the inside curb of turn 12. Because we need a good exit out of turn 13 as we are going onto a straight. I also prefer to go down to third, and then we want to set the car up for a good late apex out of turn 13. Once I get to the inside curb of turn 13, a short shift up to fourth and start to apply the throttle. And then we want to let the car walk out to the left side of the track. Just make sure to have one set of wheels within the white line. Otherwise you will get a 1x. Turn 15 is also a place where people will try and overtake you in the race, so keep that in mind. Otherwise you want to be on the left side of the track. I brake halfway between the 100 board and the 150 board here on the left. I aim for about 95% brake pressure, and we want to trail that off all the way to the little 3 anti-cuts on the inside. We also want to go for a later apex, as that will give us a little bit of a better exit. There's a lot of room on the outside to help us maximize exit speed, and that will even shorten the distance down to turn 16. Once we're past the 3 little anti-cuts on the inside, we want to slowly apply the throttle again, because it's really easy to spin the rear here. Make sure to keep one set of wheels within the white line, otherwise you will get a 1x here as well. Now over to the right side of the track. For turn 16, I brake halfway between the 100 board and the 150 board here on the right. I aim for about 95% brake pressure, trailing that off all the way to the inside curb. My goal is to come out just about mid-track for turn 16 before turning into turn 17. Just before I get to turn 17, I do dip the brake just a little bit, quick hit to about 25% to help the car rotate just a little bit more. Once I'm at the inside curb of turn 17, I also short shift up to third, just to help a little bit with traction. Once I'm off the curb of turn 17, I start to apply the throttle again, and we don't want to go full throttle, because that will make you understeer wide. we want to control the throttle so we get close into the apex of turn 18, which is close to the anti-cut. So first we want to understeer out to the outside anti-cut curb, just to help open up the corner a bit more, and then turn in so we get as close as we can to the inside curb of turn 18. Once we are past that, go full throttle again, and then we're at the start finish line. That's my lap around Silverstone Grand Prix in this Ferrari 296 challenge car, of a time at 1 minute 58.9. I have more track guides for the challenge car linked down below. Hopefully you found this one useful. If you did, leave a like down below, consider subscribing as well, and now for the uninterrupted hot laps.